Hello and welcome to Optional Enterprises watch list for the week of October 14th, 2019. And we're going to jump right on in here. So first one we've got is LEN, a consumer discretionary stock. And we can see we've had a nice little rise here. All we're looking for is a break of that 57.97 area, which happens to be a pretty strong support level. For a fallback to 56.44 as a first price target, then 54.93. So let's go take a look at our open interest and see what we can find there to confirm what we're looking for. Alright guys, so ticker symbol LEN. LEN, the open interest is kind of telling us that we're looking at a pop. This brief sell-off into support doesn't look like it is going to break, at least according to our open interest here. What tells us this is our large focus of open interest right around these areas here, the 55s, 57s, and the 60s, maintaining these large open interest positions. Also, while these puts are maintaining their position with nothing really being added to our in the money puts. So I guess in the short term, we're either looking at LEN maintaining, maybe just chopping sideways and not going anywhere, or shooting up through this 60 area and maybe finding a resistance level, possibly around these 65 strikes, which are now our November 15th. And maybe into November we could be looking for some fallback. I know this week we're looking for it to break our lower support level, which is I believe around 58, for a fallback down to some lower levels, maybe around the 55s. But there was an interesting time of sale that we want to take a look at, so let's go jump over there and see it. Alright, so the most interesting time of sale we saw on Friday, going to be right here. We got 750 calls traded at a 33 delta. It was traded below the ask. So there's two ways to interpret this as usual. I mean, it was part of a spread, so somebody obviously thought we were looking at some range bound action here, or a very directional spread. In either case, we can look at this as a rise through 60. Yeah, we're currently at 58.52. So we could be looking at this as a rise through 60, which our current chart definitely supports, with a lower support level around that 58 area. We pulled back, but if we break that 58, then this is an option seller, and the delta supports that. You know, anything, we usually like to see 20, but anything really below a 40, and I look at it as a seller until price action tells me otherwise. You can see that the underlying was at 59.15 at the time that this order was placed. So if we get that break of support, then I'm definitely looking at this as a bearish sentiment, a pretty large bearish sentiment. 750 is no small order. So this person was pretty confident in whatever it is they were thinking. So we're going to be watching. I believe we're looking at a pullback for LEN, but this could just be a precursor to a much larger rally up through 60, looking at those 65 levels. So just something to keep an eye on. Remember, keep an open mind this week with the market. We had a huge rally, which means we could be looking at a little distribution at this upper end, which means sideways actions for most securities. Ticker symbol CBS. Alright, so we're bullish on CBS, but we need to see 38.11 hold. We see that 38.11 hold, very minimum we want to see 37.43 hold, which is where we've got some pretty large open interest supporting us. First target this week, we're looking at 39.36 for about $1, and then we're looking at 39.31. You start seeing some breaks of this 37.40, we just want to stay away from it. But again, we see this hold, minimum we see 37.43 hold for another entry in. Really want to see 38.11 hold for continuation up to our first price target of 39.36. Alright, so let's take a look at the open interest and see what we can find over there. Alright folks, so ticker symbol CBS. It's going to be our next symbol right now, and we've got three areas that are of particular interest this week. And we're looking at these 39 calls, also these 41 calls, and our 3750 puts. Together, we can make a speculation that with these large volumes being added on these already existing open interests, we're looking for these to be ads. If we go down to the time and sales, we definitely see that these are all part of spreads, and the fact that this spread is so far apart leads me to believe that this is not a vertical, but this is in fact someone who possibly could have bought the 39s and sold the 41s, expecting the 41s to expire worthless, but the 39s to gain in value. Also, what supports that idea is that these 3750s, the 6,000 open interest, is maintaining. We saw absolutely no trading volume on them Friday. So this is providing us a lower support level, 3750 being our lower support. However, that could all change if we decide to break 3750 this week. 3750 breaks. These are in fact just option sellers who are expecting these to expire worthless and the 3750s to expire in the money. Given the state of CBS and its huge decline, I guess it's not impossible, but it's more likely that this is about to see a turn to the upside, and we could be looking at a 38.43 rise up to possibly at the max 41 this week. So that is what I believe for CBS. I'm definitely bullish on this one, even given the state of the market, which we had, again, I'll say we had a huge rally, and it definitely seems like at this upper end of the market, we could be looking for some distribution, especially given the large blocks that are reported on SPY, QQQ, IWM. The 188.50 and the 193 level being pretty paramount right now. I think we'll see some selling into that, which of course means sideways action for securities this week. That doesn't mean that there can't be some bullish activity in some of these securities. Ticker symbol KBH, another consumer discretionary stock here. So we're looking at 35 being our top, and we're looking for a short down to our 32 level. So right now 33.89 is where we want to see a break for the entry in. 33.89, get a break, looking for that 32 level. Do have some pretty strong volume through this area here, so you want to keep a close eye on this one. But 32 is going to be our area. If our current area holds though, we could be looking to test new highs, which we can see up here. 36 being our upper area that is confirmed by our open interest. Let's go take a look at that right now and see what we can find. Alright folks, so ticker symbol KBH this week. A couple things to look at, and what I will be focusing on right now are going to be our 32 puts. We see that we've got 3,563 traded on these 7,800. I believe that these were in fact option sellers, given that KBH has been going straight up. I don't exactly remember what these were traded at when this large open interest position was added. I know it was kind of, it was just added in little bits at a time. We didn't see one increase. But what I'm looking for are for these to be actual subtractions from this number. So I'd like to see this decreased by 50% come Monday. That would mean that these 32 holders are now selling out of their positions, hopefully for a decent profit, and that these have now switched to bearish. Given the state of volatility in this particular security, volatility is very low. I think it's in like the 16th or 15th percentile. So if I were in options in this market, I'd be looking for option buying to start taking hold in this one, as volatility is about to start increasing. That doesn't mean that this couldn't see a rise up to 36, which is where our current open interest tends to fall off and die. Also, if we take a look at our further out contracts, 36 is definitely where it seems to be some larger players are calling a top for this. So that's the first area of open interest that I'm particularly interested in. The next area of focus that I think is important to mention here are these 36 puts and all the subsequent puts underneath them. I focus mostly on the 36. 36 were traded at 38 by 40 when they originally added. You see now they're trading at 7 by 10, and this position is in fact maintaining. So these particular contracts have increased by over 200%, which means these were option sellers up here calling tops at this 36 area. They continue to decrease. They went up a little bit on Friday, but again we saw some pretty bearish activity. Still selling into support though. KBH has not broken its critical support level. I still believe that 32 is going to be the fallback area that we're looking for this week. So that's just what I believe with KBH. Again, we're looking for these to be subtractions from this current number, and we're looking for these positions essentially just to hold, maybe for these to be some adds on bearish activity, which definitely would suggest that KBH is looking for at least a short-term fallback. Alright guys, so ticker symbol is ES, going to be our next target here. We can see here that we've got, I guess what you would call an island top. Here's the island. There's our two gap downs in prices. Usually after this, we're looking for a short back down through 44.51. But we seem to be holding a pretty strong support level right here. So if we can hold above this 47.60, then I'd be looking for 49.89 and then possibly up to the 53.15. But this could go either way, and the open interest definitely suggests the same thing. It was pretty hard to interpret. Let's go take a look at it right now and see what we can see. Alright guys, so ticker symbol ZS. This one, I believe the chart is actually forming what you call an island top. It has fallen below that gap price, and now we're looking for a short down through, I believe it's 47, for a short down to 45, which definitely looks to be supported by our open interest. We got 45 with some pretty large open interest right here. Also, we've got a lot of activity on the upper end of our calls, and we had a nice large add here at the 49, 16.29. Now this could be a bullish move, at least in the short term, because it is holding a very strong support level right now on some not great volume, but if you look back a couple of weeks, there was a large volume candle where it looks like some shorts covered. So this level could be 49. We could be looking at 49, looking up to the 50, 51 areas. But the chart pattern that is formed definitely suggests that we're looking for more bearish activity out of this one. Again, it's going to depend on what the market happens to be doing. Given the rise that we've just had, we definitely are looking, I believe, at some distribution this week. So ZS could go either way. We have a large time and sell order that we want to pay attention to, and we're going to go take a look at that right now. Alright guys, so here we are in the time and sales, and the one time and sale that I definitely wanted to look at here is this one. Traded for a price of $1. The underlying was at 47.90 at the time, so it's gone up just fractionally since then, but it was traded at the 40 delta, so that's literally right at our level. 40 delta is, it could go either way. 450 contracts is no small order, so it's definitely someone who's fairly sure about what's coming. The chart definitely suggests a downward breakout. However, given where the market is right now, it would not be incredible if this happened to rally up through 49, maybe up to our 50, 51 area. But just something to keep an open mind on. This person right here is giving us a pretty good level, 49, either being a very strong resistance level for a short down or a break of 49 for a rise up. Alright, so this is going to be our third stab here at 6, ticker symbol SIX, 6 flags. If you have been watching my last watch lists, you caught 2 trades with me one for 300% back here, and then another one back here for about 100%. And we're looking for this trend line to hold and a break of this upper resistance level. So we're looking for a hold around this 10 EMA, which is, you know, around 50.19. Like to see that definitely. Very minimum, we want to see 49.30 hold for an entry back in up through 50.85, up to looking for 51.40 and then 53. But let's go take a look at our open interest and see what it is I found that confirms this. Alright guys, ticker symbol SIX. It's going to be the third week in the row that we have played this one. I know the first week we got around 300% off of it. Last week was around 100%. This week we're looking for 53, which is a pretty spectacular move. We definitely have the open interest to support this idea. So we see a lot of these guys holding strong positions above the market. 52.55 being 52.50 being a pretty strong resistance area, with 900 open interest, and doesn't seem like anything is subsiding. This particular pricing has. Alright, so taking a look at ticker symbol SIX, its open interest here. We look at these 52.50s. This is on 10/2/2019, which is right here. We can see those 52.50s were added into support. At the time, it definitely looked like a bearish setup, though. We had two large sell candles with a close above the close of the prior day. Strong sells, got a rise though. These positions are still maintaining, have decreased down to 17 cents. Coming after that though, we see a large add right here at the 45s, which has in fact provided us a pretty strong support level. It's not on this chart, but it's down below there, and it saw a moderate rise into it. So Six Flags could definitely be looking for a rise up to this 53 area, which is what I'm actually looking for this week. However, if we break that 48.21, and we could be looking for a fallback down to 45. And that is the primary focus of these particular contracts here. So if our current level does hold, then we can be definitely looking for a rise up to maybe the 52.50s, which again would give you about another 100% return on your money if you bought these at 17. 52.50 with our largest open interest. Again, these were added around 55 cents. They're now 17 cents. If they go up but it's still expire worthless, then the seller here is still going to make their money. And again, the 45 level is going to be our lower support level if we break through our 48.21 level. Alright, and last but not least, we're going to look at TSM. We're at all-time highs with this one, I believe. Yes, we are. 49.79. This is a monthly chart of TSM. Saw a lot of consolidation. Finally got that breakout around this 46 level up to the 49.79 for about $3-4 bucks. And now we see some open interest that could be possibly calling a top. I know it's always risky business calling a top, so tread carefully with this one. I'll definitely be waiting for confirmations before I even consider looking at this as a potential candidate for a fade down. But let's take a look at our chart here and see what we can see. So we got a nice, not quite a doji candle. It's more of a shooting star if it weren't for this lower wick, lower shadow right here. But we want to see 48.91 break. Definitely want to see this 48.91 break. First price target 48.20, second price target 47.43, final price target 46.12. We want to see it get out of this little rally right here, come back down, confirm our trend line right here. This is a risky play though. Again, with the market being the way it is after a 3.5% rally or so on major indices, I think we're looking at distribution this week. I'd be very surprised to see more rally. But you know, in this market, it's up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Very hard to predict at the moment. But I think distribution this week, which means at the very least TSM could be looking at sideways action, holding support around 48.91, 48.20, just holding the support level. Or if it can't hold this, then we're looking for a break down. 47.43 would be a pretty nice $2 move for us. 46.12 would be fantastic if the market does decide to sell off, but we ended the week on some pretty good news as far as America is concerned, so tread lightly. 48.91 first break, want to see it down to 48.20, retest at 48.91, I'm getting out. We'll see what happens. Let's go take a look at the open interest and find what can help us trade TSM. Alright guys, so ticker symbol TSM, last one for this week. 3 areas that we want to be looking at this week, actually 4 areas. 2 are going to be on this expiration date, next are going to be on the Novembers. First we'll start with this one, and we see we got some pretty large volume here around the 47.48s. We got 2,000 traded on nearly 4,000 open interest at the 47s, and then 1,200 traded on 2,000 at the 48s. We saw that these were large adds into Thursday and Friday on bullish activity, but not much. And remember, we are close to, I think we're actually at all-time highs for this particular security. So there's 2 ways to interpret this. We have some large money calling a top, or 47.48 is going to be providing us a support level for either a rise up or just a soft pullback down to maybe 48, which is about $1.40. $1.40 on a pullback though would still give you 100% return on the 49 strikes. So that's the way to interpret those trades right here. We definitely want to see what these are Friday into Monday, whether they be adds or subtractions. If these become subtractions, then that means that these buyers here got a little shaky because of this action on Friday, and they're closing out some of their positions for losses, or these are adds and they are in fact expecting 48.47 to hold, or looking for a shoot right through 47.48, maybe down to 46. More than likely though, we're looking at 47.48 to hold, 48 being our first support level, then 47. This is a very strong security. It doesn't go fast, it doesn't move large, but it does move. Again, we've experienced quite the amount of volatility in the market, and this week, after these large 2 days of rallies, we could be looking for some pullback into major support areas, which of course means distribution for many securities, and TSM could be looking to distribute into the 48-47 levels. You can see a lot of these guys still holding positions here. We do see a large trade here on the 50s, 1,204. So are these adds? If they're adds, then we can be looking at, again, 47, 48 being lower support, and a rise through 50 higher, maybe to our 55 area. But let's take a look at our further dated contracts and see what else we can find there. Alright, so here we're looking at our November 15th, 2019 expirations. You see that right there. So that's still about 33 days till expiration as we sit here on Sunday. And a major point of interest right now are going to be these, 15,000, 14,000 traded on our 49 and 50 strikes. Again, we're still holding on open interest here. We've got about 8,000, about 9,000 there, and about 2,500 here, so about 13,000. Now, whether these are adds or subtractions, it's going to be something you want to check first thing on Monday. Current open interest 8,830 on the 49s. Current open interest 2,564 on the 50s. Are these adds? Are these subtractions? Are these calling tops around the 49.50 in the long term? Which means a pullback to 48.47 as our October 15th expiration suggests. Seems to be a lot of focus right around here, and a large bid right there at the 42s. So based on this, if these are adds and option sellers, then 49.50 we're looking at a top. We're almost there. We could be looking little higher. But if it bounces off of 50 for a pullback and then happens to break through 48, then we could be looking as low as 42 for this one. So just something to keep an eye on. Again, calling tops, always risky business. Keep the stops tight. It starts to go against you, get out immediately. Don't even waste your time. And that's going to do it for TSM. Next, we're going to go take a look at SPY. Alright guys, so ticker symbol SPY. We can see definitely huge rally, 3 days in a row, just sharp, straight up, made it all the way up to this fib level, 298.87. Bounced off of it. Does happen to be a pretty important level here, as we saw our initial breakdown begin here. Could never get above it, bounced off it, and that brought us back down to this 284 level. This rally is rather spectacular, and the volume definitely supports a move up. But we can see we've got a large gap here. 294. Looks like this had a high of 294.21. So 294 could be looking at our lower support level. Just looking at this chart, this is a pretty bearish candle. Good volume, so it's not impossible that we see a rise up again. But we're talking from the low of this candle to the high of this candle, there's about 3.5% that the SPY has moved in just 3 days. That's pretty spectacular. Do have some important block trades that came in last week. 293.13 was the first block trade that was reported actually Tuesday, I believe it was. Once we made it up to that on Wednesday and broke through it, that became our indication that SPY was going much higher. Also Tuesday, end of day activity, 288.50 played an important role. So those are just two levels to keep in mind. Probably won't be too much to pay attention to this week. The 293 would be more important, as 294 is providing us a pretty good support level, and we know large institutions came in at 293.13. So we could see some pullback to that area. Wouldn't be too surprised to see that. A break of that area, however, and we're going back down to 288.50, below 288.50. It's the end of the world. Just kidding. But I'm expecting some pullback this week, to be sure. Won't be able to tell until we look at open interest Monday and the changes that occurred. So let's go take a look at it now and see what we find here. Alright, so the first thing that definitely draws a lot of attention are these large volume trades above the market on the call side in a declining volatility environment. So there's a couple ways to interpret this, as always. If these turn into open interest come Monday, which I wouldn't be too surprised if they did, then I'd be looking at this 297, 298 level as potential resistance for that day, and fallback maybe down to the 296, maybe not. I don't think it's gonna happen all at once. And we've got a lot of volume traded here on these puts, and this would cause rising volatility and option sellers to actually lose money. But again, if volatility is rising and somehow we can get more out of SPY for a rise back up, I'd still be looking at 297, 298 to be potential resistance zones, and essentially just to hold there, maybe hold around the 297. So for Monday, I can't really say what I'm looking at. This is after this huge rally. I'm thinking pullback, but until I see how these numbers change, I'm not going to be able to give you any type of bias as far as I'm concerned right now. I'm completely open to forming an opinion. My post Monday will give you a better idea on Instagram what I think for SPY. I can tell you that I definitely think, and this is not based off of anything I see here, that pullbacks into 293 are what we're expecting this week. So that's what I'll be looking at. let's go take a look at the time and sales and see if there's anything that we can interpret to a potential move into Monday. Alright, so taking a look at our time and sales, there's a lot to actually that we can speculate on, of course. So the first one we see here is our largest call order, which with 3,600 or 3,300 traded at a 9 delta. So I think we can safely bet that 302.50 is we're just not going to see it. Those are going to expire worthless. Or this is a huge speculation that 302.50 is going to see we're going to see another big rise into Monday, and all the way through 302.50, which is about what is that, $4, $6? Seems highly unlikely. So doesn't look like we're looking for a huge move come Monday to the upside. However, we do see some puts, 294 puts, very close to the market. 294 puts, another 292, 295, 292. Of course, they're all traded at low deltas. You can see we got a 9, a 16, 10, and 23. So at first glance, these would look like sells. Again, we're looking at spread trades though. So somebody could have been financing these, selling some calls to buy these puts. A low implied volatility environment definitely suggests that a rise up in implied volatility is only going to help the price of these puts. These are very close to the market, extremely close. Look at right now we're at 296.28. Some of these are only a point, 2 points below. After a 3.5% move in the SPY, it would be nothing for it to give back a percent. You know, that'd be about a $3 move, which would put most of these puts in the money. Actually, pretty much all of them in the money. And they'd be looking at 200, 300% return on their money, 400% return on their money. So those are pretty good indicators that we're looking for some puts come Monday. That doesn't mean we couldn't see an initial pop up, nice pop up, maybe 290, see that 298 level again. Doesn't seem too likely though. Looking at 297 being potential resistance, and looking for shorts off of there. And those aren't the only ones. We see some more 292s down here. Not too many calls close to the money though. So we got some safe players, 300. That's about $4 away. These guys could be thinking, there's still a rally left in it, but they don't think it's going to see 300. In which case, these are sellers looking for that 9-cent commission, 16-cent commission. Again, low implied volatility environment. Option buyers are going to be the ones making money. Still not as much as option sellers, but the tables have turned to their favor. So I'll be looking for puts come Monday based off these time and sales and these close to the money contracts being purchased for cheap money, so low risk for whoever bought them, because they'll be able to tell pretty much right away whether or not these are going to be working for them. Alright guys, I want to thank you for watching my watch list this week. I hope you found it helpful. I know last week's watch list was fantastic, had some 200, 300% winners. I hope we can find those this week again for you. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.